Good morning, guys. This is me, Rusty78609, and this is it, TC, Sir TC, and it is Monday morning at 8:47 a.m. Central Standard Time. I just got back from my walk. It was cool outside, so I wore a long sleeve shirt. Somebody commented that it's probably the only shirt that fits. Could be right. I don't really care. Anyway, I had a lot of comments, and that's good. I appreciate it. But there's one here that kind of requested a response, and it's about that the video I did on living alone. And apparently, I know there's a lot of people that do live alone, and and for some people it's difficult. For others, like myself, it's not. It's the way it is. But one of the questions that was brought up through a comment was, and I know I pick my nose, I do all kind of crazy things, I scratch my hand, I do all kind of, excuse me, I've got all kind of idiosyncrasies. I'm not a professional, so that's the end of that crap. Anyway, it says, and the question, what do you do? What do you do to break up the boredom on living alone in an RV or a van? Is a common one. What do I do to break up the boredom? All right, first of all, you got to understand most of life is naturally boring. Okay, that was not even a word back when I was growing up. If it was, you didn't dare say it because I guarantee you my father would have come up with something to do and you wouldn't have liked it. So, being bored is very common. Everybody experiences it and there's no reason to fight it. It just exists. It's like the time between 2 p.m. and beer 30 for me, 4 o'clock. That's the I call the dead zone, and not much happening. And it's for like 2 hours, and I can read, I can take a walk. I mean, there's a lot of things I could do, but since I don't choose, sometimes I don't choose to do any of them, then I am therefore considering myself bored. Well, and it's true, but what you mean is to kind of break up the routine. We get in ruts, we get in habits. That we're creatures of habit. We love habits, and because one of the things that the human animal or any animal loves is predictability. Where the water is, where the food is, where it's warm, where it's comfortable, etc., etc., etc. We love predictability, and we work real hard to make things that way because in your home things are in a certain order because that's predictable to you. And so, there are things you can do. There's a lot of things you can do. Now, you may not choose to do them like I do. In fact, there's another comment that goes right along with that, posted by another individual today, and he talks about, you could go to local libraries, and go to a chamber of commerce office and check out the types of clubs in the area, and join a club if you want to. This fellow says the Toastmasters Club is a lot of fun. Rock clubs. You got all kind of things. You got people that go bird watching. Libraries always have a lot of different things to do. And they have lectures sometimes at the library. I go to some here. I go to some in Austin. So there's a lot of things you can do to break up those moments of boredom. You have to plan them and execute them, or they won't get done. But and for me, again, I'm age 71. What applies to me may not apply to anyone else. I did some of those things years ago. I was a member of the Lions Club, and I was a member of the Chamber of Commerce. I was a member of the Rotary Club, and all that stuff. And later on, I chose to opt out of those. And the reason was, I kind of got burned out on it. There's a lot of politicking going on there, and of course, you get a lot of people in there that are, in real estate and insurance, and they're for a reason. You got bankers and lawyers there; they're there for a reason. It's a way to generate business, and I understand that. But it wasn't for me. I didn't do it. I mean, I could do it now. In fact, there's a local little Lions Club I could join. They have a pancake festival and do all kind of things. And I'm not sure. I have a good friend of mine who's in it, and I might. But what I found out from being a member of some of the clubs is what you'll find, or at least I found, was 20% of the people do 80% of the work. In other words, if you have a fundraiser that requires some people to be at a certain place for a certain period of time for 2 days or whatever, then what you'll find it'll be the same 20% of the people doing it all, and the other 80% are at home watching football on TV. And that's just the way it is. And I tried volunteer work, but volunteer work didn't work out because what happens with volunteer work is you're basically just free labor, and they'll start to lean on you more and more and more. You start out working 12 hours a week, and then it's, could you come in on Friday for just, maybe a couple hours and help us do this or that? And then it's, could you come in on Monday and then Tuesday and Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday? So, I got out of that too. And of course, one of the things that I do that anybody can do, I don't care if you're living in a van or an RV or a tortilla shell, it doesn't matter. You can find part-time work. You can, I have a fixed income from Social Security, a little savings, not much, but I'm always able to find uh, part-time work. I was a cave guide at Longhorn Cavern State Park here. It's about 4 miles from my house, off Park Road 4, and I did that for a couple of years. A lot of fun. I could go do it right now. Why don't I? Don't need to. I do the wine tasting events, and that satisfies my social needs, I guess. And again, I'm 71, so if you're in your 50s or 40s or 60s or whatever, you've got a whole different outlook on life. You got, you may want to do more things, and that's fine. They're out there. There's a lot of things to do to break up that thing called boredom. And reading is one. If you really want to try something that's interesting, you can publish books on Amazon and for free. You as an individual can actually write a short story, publish it on Amazon, and it will cost you nothing. And they will put it up. And whatever revenue that comes in on that particular book or whatever you publish, you get most of it. You do. It's kind of like YouTube, only it's for writers, and it works. I thought about doing it, but to write, you have to be focused. Okay, you do. You have to really kind of think through if you're going to have characters in there, you got to kind of know where they're going to appear and not appear. You got to kind of have to be able to write dialogue. But anyway, that's another thing you can do. You can read, write. You can do YouTube videos. That's another thing to do, and that's really an interesting thing to do. You, you're not going to make it. Well, you could. I'm not going to say you can't make any money. The chances of making money are slim. Okay, you'll make some. It's not going to be much, but it becomes a hobby and it connects you with the universe. I mean, I'm connected with the whole world. I got viewers in Canada, Australia, Germany, in Europe, different countries. Got a few from Asia, not many. And so they make comments every now and then, and so you kind of feel connected to the world, and so this for me, doing the YouTube videos is a way to fill in those periods that I might be considered bored, I guess you'd say. And but you do have to stay or try to stay busy, or else you will be getting what's called depressed. And basically, see, that word didn't exist either when I was a child, or even a teenager, or even in my 20s, and nobody ever got depressed because it didn't exist. That word wasn't created till the 70s or 80s, and then everybody was depressed. Everybody was taking pills for depression, etc., etc. And but what happens when you don't do anything for long periods of time? You become lethargic. In other words, you kind of lose, your energy level goes down. And to get that back up, I would recommend for anyone that lives alone to exercise. Okay, exercise. I mean, if you live in an area in a large city where it's not safe to walk, then either take a bus or a cab or a car and go to an area where it is safe to walk on a regular basis and exercise regularly. That's very important. That will change your whole outlook on life. I mean, I just got back from my morning walk. I walk for about an hour every single day. Okay. And then after that, in the afternoons, I may take another short walk for 15 or 20 minutes, and I may do that 2 or 3 times during the day. And all of that makes me feel a lot better. I'm 71. I take no medication. All my blood work is okay. And I attribute all of that to exercise and diet. I don't think any of it is genetic. If it is, it surprises me. My brother died at the ripe old age of about 62 or younger. Might have been. I think he was 60 or 62, in that range. I've got. My mother was 85. My dad died at 57. So it's not like it's it's not. You can blame it on genes. You can sit down on the couch and eat potato chips and say, well, it's my genes. I hear you. I hear you. Hear you. Hear you. But anyway, as to living in a van or RV or anything else alone, alone is alone. Okay, it doesn't matter where you are or what you're in, and you just have to come up with things to do. That's it. And what I always do is make a friend of what I call paper and pen. Write it down. Write it down. In other words, sit down and say, okay, what are the things that I can do within my financial limitations, physical limitations, whatever they are? What are they? And if you need to, go to Google and check it out. What are some things? What are some hobbies and things to do? And make a list. And don't qualify them at first. Just write them all down. Write them all down. Write them all down. You may end up with a list of 20 items. Okay, and then after that, you go back and you look at the list. Oh shit, I can't do that one, and you line them off. Next thing you end up with 10. Okay, and then you got 10 viable options. Okay, and then out of that 10, you start narrowing them down to things you really want to do, and then you put them in some kind of order. Like, yeah, I really enjoy doing that one, or yeah, this is good. I think I'll try that too. And maybe you end up with 3 things that are viable, that you are interested in, and that you will do. Okay, and that's it. You're on the track, and can you change that in a goddamn heartbeat? You're in charge of your life. Okay, and that always frightens me when people say, well, I've already told them I'd do this, that, or that. The crap on that. You are you, and then you can change directions anytime. I'm not saying you ought to make a contract and then break it. No, it's different. But if you have just made up your mind, like me, I was going to have a puppy, that doesn't mean you're committed to it for the rest of your life. I was testing it; it didn't work for me, and I took the puppy back, and I got me this. Okay, I got it. Okay, TC, Trenton Clump. And this is as much company or presence as I need. In fact, if you're living alone in a whatever, get you a couple of those it's and put them around and talk to them and whatever you need to do. And I covered that yesterday, but there are things to do. There's bird watching clubs. This other fellow mentioned bird watching. History clubs. There's all kind. He's right. There's all kinds of clubs, and it says you can go to Google clubs. Type in your town name, and you check out blogs and forums. And he's right. There's so much to do that you'll find that uh, you won't be bored, or if you are bored, it's because you choose to be. Okay, and I choose that every now and then. Boredom is not bad. In fact, I think it could be healthy in some ways. When I was in my 40s, when I first, or when I got my last divorce and was living alone, hell, I hung out in bars. I thought that was the answer. I'd go to bars. Boy, that is not an answer. That is not. I did that for probably 10 years. I didn't think the bars could survive if I wasn't there. And so in the evenings, I'd go to the bars and spend money. And, shit, that's crap. You're not going to meet any great people in bars. You're going to meet people in bars just like yourself. Okay? So go find you another path. If you want to be successful and you want to be happy, do what successful, happy people do. Okay? That's all you get. It's that simple. It's that simple. Find out who's successful, who's happy, and do what they do. Easy, ain't it? Life's a piece of cake. But anyway, having said all that, that was my deal. And I'm going to add one more little comment here right quick as an addendum, because I have it's going to require a little discussion on my part. And it's not anything to do with living alone, okay? This is a comment by an individual that says, Rusty, I was surprised to learn that you are an atheist. I'm not an atheist, agnostic, or anything. I just don't believe in God, okay? I'm not a bumper sticker, okay? I don't believe in any God, any gods anywhere. I mean, I've traveled the world. I've been in countries where there's Hindus. I've been in countries where there's Muslims. I've been in countries where they're largely Buddhist. Buddhism is not a religion. It's just a way of thinking. But anyway, a lot of people think it's a religion. I've been in Christian countries. I've been all the different ones. I've lived on Indian reservations where there's a totally different way to look at life there. Some of them think they came out of a hole in the ground. Some of them believe in the Great Spirit. There's people out on the islands that think a shark is their God. And who's to say that the Christian God is the best anyway? Or the Muslim? Who cares? And then the Hindus have thousands of them, all right? So, if you choose to believe in a God or gods, good for you. Good for you. If you think that I am in fear of going to hell, I'm not. I don't even think about it. It doesn't mean crap to me. It's just another book. Okay? And I'll go on. It says, to me it seems impossible to not believe that God is real. To you it seems that way. Okay, and I'm glad you feel that way. But to me, that's just the way I believe. It's a personal thing with me, and I'm sure it's a personal thing with you. It says one does not have to have any formal religious education at all, and just look outside at all the natural beauty and life forms and then conclude that there is no God. It's easy for me to do that. I mean, I believe in evolution. I believe that we evolved. I mean, I believe that evolution is natural because my life evolved. I evolved from a single cell to a multi-cell. And in fact, would if I did not believe in God and I died and there was a God, with this is a quote, God of love, is he going to punish me? Why would he punish me? He's the one that created me. You got me? I mean, religion makes no sense to me. It's such a, but I'm not going to argue about it. I'm just going to point out that, I'm not an atheist. I'm not an agnostic, and I'm not any of those things. Okay, even though atheists don't believe that there's a God, and agnostics just believe that, there's no quote supreme being. I guess the agnostics aren't total disbelievers. They're kind of questioning, I guess. But to me, I've seen so many things. I've seen death and stuff. It was simply uncalled for, and you can't believe. I guess in summary, let me finish your question here. It's impossible to conclude there's no God because there's nature. It's not for me. It's very easy. I conclude that evolution is a fact, and if it's not, so what? Of course, in this setting, I am unable to fully express my thoughts on the existence and importance of God. For me, though, in determining whether God exists or not, I would not want to be on the wrong side of that conclusion. Well, that's you, okay? You don't want to be on the wrong side of that conclusion. It doesn't bother me 5 cents. If I'm wrong and there's a God up there sitting on a throne, and somewhere there's a hell with a little pointy headed guy with a sharp pointed tail, and he's got a fire going, uh, come on, guys. Never mind. Uh, you got to read a little bit of Mark Twain, I guess. I mean, no, but I respect all religious beliefs. Religion serves a good purpose worldwide, okay? And but for me, I don't choose to do it. Just like living alone, I do choose to do that. It's my personal choice. Your personal choice is different. Good for you. Okay, having said that, I feel better now. Thumbs up, carpe diem, adios, bye. Oh, excuse me. Bye bye. TC says bye bye also. You guys have a great day, and we will too. Bye bye.